Hello everyone, my name is Cody, and my name is also John Goat Scriptures, and I want to present to you a video for the glory of the dragon. I've been wanting to make this video for a while, over a year, 2 years. I've been wanting to make a video ever since I got new information. We're going to be looking at the Temple of Ascending Flame, Egregore, and the main difference between, the soft covers they put out, like Rites of Lucifer, and the difference between this and where it's really, where the current really comes from, Primal Craft. This is, by the way, this is the Red King, 2nd edition by Mark Allen Smith, Primal Craft Occult Publishing. So this is Rites of Lucifer by Temple of Ascending Flame, and by the end of this video I want you to, my goal is for you to understand the worlds of a fucking difference between this book and this grimoire right here, and understand that, if this kind of work, if this kind of stuff is beckoning to you, if you find yourself being drawn for this stuff, you'll be able to make the right, educated decision. Okay. So, for those of you who've never heard of him before, the Red King is the 2nd book in the Trident trilogy, the 1st trilogy of the Primal Craft grimoires by Mark Smith, and this is the 2nd book in the trilogy. So the first 3 books are entitled Queen of Hell, Red King, and the Scorpion God. Queen of Hell is dedicated to Hecate and her witch goddess Current, which there is a lot of Kabbalah in there, and it basically gets you working with the system, working with Hecate, working with the tree, but also works with the night side too. So you're working, you're working the path, you're working the tree of life and knowledge. This 2nd book here, the Red King, this book is completely dedicated to Lucifer, but there is also a lot of work with Hecate and Belial, and work with the other spirits that are bring forth. This work puts you back on the tree of knowledge, back on the tree of life, and opens you up for the 3rd book, the Scorpion God, where you actually descend below all those grid works, where you descend into the Atlantean universe, which is below the tree of life and knowledge. That's all that I will reveal right now. But this book is very, very dense, a lot of gnosis in here. And by the end of this book, by the end of this video, I want you to understand, I want you to basically understand why, if you're drawing work, you should seek out books like these and avoid books like these. Now, it's not because this is a paperback or, the paperbacks are bad. Anyway, no, there's a lot of good occult paperbacks out there, like Martinet Press, Devil's Quran, The Black Path, The Deplorable Word. There's great paperbacks, out there with practical knowledge. With practical knowledge, you can get anything in paperback. But when it comes to true devotion, it comes to true magic and true current, there's a fucking worlds of a difference. So I really don't like to have to talk smack. I really hate talking smack and talking bad about certain people or individuals when it comes to this kind of stuff. But see, this is Senath Mason's Rites of Lucifer, and it's a compilation. It has It has essays and stuff by her. It has Bill Duvendak. It has Edgar Curvel in there. It has rituals by the Temple of the Ascending Flame themselves. And when this was new to me, I fucked with Temple of the Ascending Flame in 2014, 2015. You know, like I participated in their open projects. You know, I did their rituals and meditations, and compared against Primal Craft, they are unbelievably, the Temple of Ascending Flame pathworkings are unbelievably underwhelming and unempowered. So here you have, to begin, there you have the sigil of the Temple of Ascending Flame, and as you'll see later in the video, a lot of the sigil work here is just straight up, if not completely plagiarized. It is manipulated and ripped off from the sigils and symbols used in the Primal Craft. So, you know, not too bad. We're starting off, there's some essays and stuff in here. You know, mentions the old grimoires and stuff, the Tree of Knowledge, the Tree of Clipoth. And then, you know, you get a really simple meditation, a really simple, this one's called the Light Bearer Ritual. And this right here, like the elements of this sigil, you know, those of you who have read the Scorpion Guide, you'll recognize what this symbol comes from, and this symbol right here. It's the sigils. The sigils are plagiarized and manipulated, and actually they can be quite dangerous, because when you fuck with certain, you see, everything in the Primal Current, they just give you a backstory. It's the cult of Hecate, it's the cult of Lilith, and the real Primal Crafter is it is a form of esoteric Satanism, and when you go into their, all the dark gods take orders from Hecate, and she has specifically laid certain things out in sequential order for a reason. So you have to do the work within Queen of Hell first and the Red King before you can touch the Scorpion God. Generally, that is a recommended thing to do. Now, some people, devotees, are like taking along tangential paths and stuff like that. It's completely okay. But generally, the things are placed in a certain order for a reason. And when you just going on willy-nilly any old sigil, you know, with the chaos magic mentality, magic is not whatever you want it to be. It is a certain set of rules. And when you start fucking with certain things out of order, you can open yourself to various gridworks of consciousness and entities and things before you have been prepared to deal with them. So you can get problems that way. And I'm about to tell you right here where this ritual is actually stolen from. So right away, I mean, we have a sigil that we could find in Old Grimoire, we could find in like the Lesser Key of Solomon stuff. This is nothing new here. A lot of these sigils and a lot of these, this image right here, we're going to go back to this later in the video. A lot of these symbols and stuff do have a place within the primal current, within the true path of draconian magic, but you know, a lot of the stuff that's in this book is old teaching. It's not really new. It's really old. Now, I want to show you the difference now. This is the Red King by Mark Smith. Second edition, only like $4.99. How many was released here? $4.99. These are printed 999 of the first edition of the Red King. Okay. Here's what we got here. 'Cause, 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 Wild Eye. Okay. So right away, that first ritual I just showed you in Rites of Lucifer was actually stolen from the Rite of the Trident, which is the Red King's first ritual. Now, I gotta lay some backnosis here, okay? After the fall of Atlantis, the true mystery religion or mystery occultism and magical practice of the last race of man has been scattered and fragmented. And so, this is why you have so many different gods and goddesses. This is why you have Hinduism and, you know, the Vedic traditions. This is why you have Norse traditions. This is why you have Middle Eastern religions. This is why you have African religions, and like all like different gods. They all seem to be different, and yes, they are. They can be different and have different entities, but the same core principles, mainly like the Far Eastern and the Western occultisms, are relatively the same. It's just been fragmented. So, the Rite of the Trident. There, you draw the Rite of the Trident. You invoke the powers, you know, of the primal craft, and you have all these different sigils here of Hecate, Lucifer, Belial, placed at the different quadrants of the circle, and these become stellar gateways, and you have these beautiful written invocations or different yantras of the soul to open up the soul to receive the divine power of these living archetypes, these living witch gods, these eternal. Well, it's really beyond gods and archetypes. You're dealing with really the universe and the cosmic spiral at this level. You're dealing with the one dragon, as Curtis Joseph calls it, you know. I'm not going to read any of the invocations on you because they're actually supposed to be used in ritual. But let's just give you an example, a difference between Primal Craft and Temple of Ascending Flame. Okay, let's just give you a different, worlds of a difference here. Oh. Okay. This is, we're really going to get into this now, and we're going to start to expose, where these guys are going wrong, and where the Red King is going right here. The key to Lucifer's current is the trident, the ancient symbol of power and authority. It represents the pillar of ascent, initiated on the path of ascending flame. Within the draconian tradition, Lucifer often appears as a man with flaming wings holding the trident in his hand. It is also the symbol of which he marks his initiates. The trident represents human consciousness as the key to Atlantis, the gate of sunset, the western current. And we're going to expose where that was taken from. And the key to the inner mind of the initiate, meaning the witch has to be explored. Through the personal work of Lucifer's masks and manifestations. The symbol of the trident can be used in magical work to open gateways of draconian current as a magical posture, or it can be fashioned as a magical tool, weapon, and talisman. The trident is the axis of the world and the pillar of soul ascension. It connects the Empyrean and the infernal worlds, while its center is the initiate, the unique and solitary traveler on the path of the night side. And we're going to be reading from the Red King now. Page 22. Between the veils of the gods which obscure the path of discovery in the nature of man to hide true gnosis from his fellow man, the points of entry into magical worlds, the very realms of the gods themselves, are lost. It is here the soul traveler can become disoriented. Some of the workings within this book are therefore aimed at adjusting the receptivity of both the mind and soul to the energies of the various gods and spirits who serve the Dark Queen Hecate. The Eye of the Sun. The third eye of Lucifer can be seen by those who encounter him in close proximity, whether his chosen manifestation be that of the horned god or the mighty witch dragon. The energy of Lucifer's emerald eye manifests as the draconian glyph. This is the actual third eye of the horned king of Thaumael. To attune oneself to the energy which rays forth from this eye is to attune one's mind to the mind of Lucifer, preparing the soul to receive gnosis of the lost and hidden keys contained within this work. Witchcraft, like its horned god, is all things. It is Empyrean, it is infernal, and it is stellar. All these realms are parts of the whole, within each path workings, over which Lucifer presides as Lord of this universe. The Horned King is anything but confined solely to the infernal realms of the universe. The stellar process of attuning your own soul to the energy of the emerald eye of Lucifer opens the inner self to the power that is contained within this book. Once the mind and soul are fully attuned to the transition through the gates of hidden knowledge may commence. 23. The Rite of the Trident. This ritual begins as the Rite of the Trident, where all members of the Trident are called and initiate the proceedings. It is a working which should be performed under an open sky, in a place where solitude can be found. The spheres of power, if you possess them, should be used within this ritual. Those who have successfully arisen from the Rite of the Phoenix, as detailed in the book Queen of Hell, or have otherwise obtained the crystal spheres of power, will find them a powerful addition to this rite. One sphere is charged with the magical essence of Hecate. This is the obsidian eye. The other is clear crystal quartz. Crystal sphere is charged with the magical essence of Lucifer. The sphere of Lucifer is the crystal eye. The spheres of power can be created by placing them at the point of manifestation during powerful ritual physical plane evocation of their respective witch gods. These eyes of the gods will assist in opening of the many portals that are necessary to this work. For this rite, the obsidian eye of Hecate is placed at the northern quadrant. That of her consort is placed at the center of the circle, the axis of power. Once the cloak of Hecate is cast and the elemental quarters have been opened, the gate of the abyss should be opened. This can be done with the formula of the ToAF or any other preferred method of opening this gateway of knowledge. Once the vortex begins to swirl, the paths of light, dark, through which the energies of heaven and hell merge, should be conjoined. The Empyrean gates are opened first and closed last. The infernal gates are opened last, and once the working is complete, closed first. The powers above and below are merged with that which flows through the four universal quadrants, where all paths conjoin at the center of the vortex. The energy created in this catalyst must be ensorcelled and infused into all parts of being, and the sacred space which you now stand upon all planes of existence. This opens up the gateways of self in preparation for the Rite of the Trident. The prayer of the gateways, I'm not going to read that. The sigils of the witch gods should be carved in the dirt within the circle of the athame or fingertip. Facing east, Lucifer's sigil, the gateway to the city of pyramids, is drawn in that quadrant. That's what this symbol right is like there, the broken pentagram with the V at the bottom and the line at the top. This is the gateway of the city of pyramids sigil. The primary sigil of Hecate is drawn to your left side in the northern quadrant. The sigil of Belial, the Lord of Wisdom, is drawn to your right in the south. The trident of Lucifer is now drawn atop of his own sigil in the far eastern quadrant of the circle, crowning the gateway to the city of pyramids. These sigils are sealed at blade point, focusing upon which each indigo eye. They are opened with a gentle, invocative prayer to the witch gods, and then invocation to Belial, invocation to Lucifer, and invocation to Hecate. I'm not going to read them for this book because I don't want to I don't want to read them just for a mundane video, you know, for a purpose. There has to be a purpose and a reason behind summoning these kinds of forces. Now let's go back and read some more of the Temple of the Ascending Flame in case you don't, in case you can't tell the difference here. Okay, the Light Bearer ritual. Well, this is, they're taken from the Rite of the Trident, and I'm going to expose how. Why? This working was inspired by ancient legends and Promethean concept of spiritual illumination. The sigil was received from Lucifer himself. I highly question that, if that is the case, and is specifically attributed to this mask. Apart from the usual ritual tools, you will need a golden candle for this working. Should be placed at the center of the altar as a focal point of the ritual. Sit in a comfortable position, place the sigil in front of you, anoint it with your blood, and see how the image becomes charged and activated with your life force. Visualize the sigil glowing and pulsating with Lucifer's fiery energy flashing around and illuminating the room. Envision it as a gate to the void. Ooh. You don't just get to open the void just by putting a drop of blood on a spooky looking sigil. No. Not without being under the cast cloak of Hecate, not without being under the guidance and assistance of Lucifer, because the void is very fucking dangerous and very, very nasty. Even if you were able to open up the void just with your own mind, just by visualizing it, you can still encounter a lot of problems and a lot of danger, a lot of spiritual entities and lower vibrational shit that see you as an opportunity, will take you as an opportunity if given the chance. And I've learned about the dangers of playing with the void the hard fucking way. The more bullshit void meditate. The primal essence of the dragon and the stellar current of Lucifer. Feel your third eye open and pierce the illusory barriers between the world. See the intent of the ritual through the sigil and feel the draconian energies flowing through the gate into the room and out into the blackness of the void. More bullshit. Whisper Lucifer's name and ask him to come into his stellar light bearer form. Do not force any visions. Let them come spontaneously and in a natural way. Bullshit. Bullshit. That's just throwing you into not only what they're doing, they're taking the primal craft and like watering it down, but they're potentially putting you in danger. When you feel the atmosphere in the room charged with energy and your mind ready for communication with the light bearer, begin the invocation. Not going to read it. Place your hands over the flame. Visualize you're taking the fire in your hands. Visualize the flames. Okay, now, there's nothing wrong with, like, candles and, like, playing with fucking fire where you might burn yourself. Playing with fire meditations, that's completely fine. It's just the context that it's taken in, you know. It's the context. It's the fact that this stuff is being stolen. The Temple of the Ascending Flames, you know, rituals are being stolen from the Primal Craft rituals. That is concerning. You can make up your own, you know, if you want to have like a tiptoe, you know, eggshell relationship with the spirit, with the gods and spirits, you're welcome to do so at all your own risk there, you know. They're not, it's like any kind of true magical system. They are not just going to fucking, you know, hold your hand or whatever to you. They're going to, you know, they're going to assume that you're ready for this shit. And you're going to, whatever happens, you know, you got to fucking take responsibility. If your life gets all fucked up, it's because, you know, it's because they're shaking, you know, things up in your life. They're assuming that you're ready for cosmic power, that you're ready for the power of the galactic spiral, that you're ready for this fucking shit. and they're just gonna throw it at you, you know. But you are more than free to like play with your own astral body and visualize flames, you know, going up your arm and stuff like that. That's completely fine. Okay? But don't invoke Lucifer for just a simple astral body meditation. Don't invoke him for something that small or that little. Trying to find some more. Okay, I think one of the most damning examples of plagiarism right here is the last ritual within this book here. Is called Lucifer's Masks. There. The Ritual of the Masks by Bill Dovendak. And just for fun fact here before I forget, the actual name Temple of Ascending Flame was actually stolen from the Red King. There, was taken from the Red King. Mark Smith himself let them use that name. They let her use that name for her temple in Poland. Okay, the Ritual of the Masks. Then I have to find the chapter. Masks of the Horn God Lucifer, 143. Okay. Now I'm just going to read, like I did the last time, I'm going to read the description, but I'm going to skip any of the actual invocations in here. The Masks of the Horn God Lucifer from the Red King by Mark Smith. We're on page 143. This ritual of soul empowerment is only for those who wish to pursue this pathway far beyond the incarnate flesh, opening the way to deeper gnosis, preparing the whole being in soul empowerment to allow it to access the gates of depths beyond the tunnels of Thaumael. Keys to power and gnosis. The Dark Queen Hecate holds the keys to the power that is required to perform the rite of the Masks of the Horn God Lucifer. The Witch Flame Goddess must be ritually petitioned together with Lucifer to grant her blessings upon this rite. The blessing of the keys is put forth to the Queen of Hell in order to receive the 2 etheric keys of knowledge and power which unlock the seal upon this work. Once the seal upon this rite has been lifted, the ritual may then be performed. Any who are not already fully initiated to a member of the ruling trident who perform this work will forever become the children of the Horn God Lucifer. This is his right to claim as his own those souls who walk into his gate of knowledge without a patron. This may indeed suit some who are looking for an extremely direct route to the raw, unlimited power of Lucifer, as well as his patronage. It in no way affects the consummate journey of the soul who seeks the 3 great crowns of divinity, aspiring to stand beside the gods as one of the eternal children of the Trident. Once performed, though, the work within this powerful magical ritual cannot be reversed. Keys upon the lightning flash. These are the 5 prime sigils of Lucifer. These are the 5 universal faces of the Horn God of Thaumael, 4 of which stand at the 4 cardinal gates. The 5th is the pivotal point upon which the 4 higher masks and personas are centered and bound as one being within the universe of man. Each of these 5 main sigils is a junction of power once it has been tapped upon the lightning flash of Lucifer's gnosis. All that lies between them is the many masks, faces, and veils of this complex and extremely multifaceted being who is the Great Horned King. These masks and veils, when experienced and conjoined within the soul, grant not only the knowledge but also the power which makes up the understanding of the totality of Lucifer's gnosis. This rite brings any who perform it into deep and permanent soul connection with Lucifer on all levels, with all aspects of Lucifer on all levels. So, what this is basically saying here is that Lucifer's multiple sigils within, the old grimoires, you already familiar with. The most common sigil of Lucifer is the gateway to the city of pyramids, which is this symbol right here. And those of you who have probably studied the left-hand path of the occult probably are familiar with this symbol, and this symbol, and this symbol, and this symbol right here. Well, these are actually different Lucifers, okay? Just like I can have more than one name or more than one persona, I can be Cody and Goat Scriptures at the same time. Well, so do the gods have multiple names and multiple faces and multiple masks. Lucifer is a very, very complex and intricate being, and according to some grimoire traditions, he can appear as a small child. To others who summon him, he looks like a beautiful angel, with flowing blonde hair, almost like, Enki from the Joy of Satan Ministries. He looks like that. To the witches, he looks like the horned god, over my shoulder here. He looks like the horned devil, or looks like a giant goat or something like that. To others, he's a big giant dragon, and this is because all these masks and these different forms are true. And basically, whenever you invoke a spirit or do work with the spirit, you are forming a psychic connection, and the more that you have interface with this particular god, goddess, or archetype or spirit, but really, like, Lucifer is beyond all that. He's beyond all the archetypes, beyond all the gods. It's like dark energy. It's like dark matter. You're connecting with the universe, with the cosmos. You're doing a cosmic invocation when you do this kind of work. When you work with the Hecatian and the Luciferian forces, you're working directly with the universe. They're that big. They're that massive. They're that elevated beyond, what most people would think to be occult, or think to be like gods or goddesses or Anunnaki or extraterrestrials or aliens. No, they're way more elevated beyond that. So each of these 5 symbols here are different aspects of Lucifer, and basically this ritual involves working with all of them. And you form a permanent psychic link to the Lord of Thamiel, to the Lord of the Air, the gateway of the city of pyramids, to the Lord of the Atlantean magic, to the Lord of the dark god of the visions of man, the Lord of shadow and flame. They're all different aspects of Lucifer, and you're going to connect all of them when you do that, when you perform that kind of work. Do not try or attempt this work, by the way, with just the symbols that you saw. It can be very, very dangerous, and much harm can come to you because the energy is so great. You're dealing with all of the entirety of the universe just getting pushed into your soul. It's gonna, if you just try to attempt that kind of work right away, you can get your soul just ripped apart. It's like you blow too much air inside of a balloon and it pops, it bursts. The same thing can happen to the soul. Okay, so now we just received some wonderful gnosis, some wonderful, beautiful witch lore, and beautiful gnosis bombs right here from the Red King. And what does Bill Dovendak offer us here? This is a ritual designed to assist one traveling down to their core by removing the false faces that are either worn by choice or have accumulated unconsciously through life out of necessity or wounds. Again, I take no pleasure in making this video, against Bill, against Asenath Mason, against the Temple of the Ascending Flame, but it has to be it has to be done by someone. Through experienceless choice or lack thereof, we accumulate mass, blah blah blah, some Jungian shit, blah blah blah. And what Bill has you do, he has you construct 10 to 12 masks, the same amount of masks there on the Sephiroth, or whatever, like paper mache or whatever like that, and then you're just burning them or destroying them. So here we have the Red King, we have a beautiful grimoire to connect permanently with eternal, living, cosmic forces that will elevate your soul beyond eternity. You don't have to, it's really like, I think of this like Black Phillip, movie The Witch, wouldst thou like to live deliciously? They didn't come here to enslave us or harvest us or any shit like that. No, they came here so we could live deliciously. And you're being elevated well beyond the limits of mind and flesh, and you're going to literally stand beyond all form in the eternal darkness, in the dark matter of the universe, if you will. You're going to stand next to these powers for eternity. And as many lifetimes as you need, you can go back and perform even more work to elevate yourself there. And what does Temple of Ascending Flame offer? None of that. It's just more like Jungian shit, and it's like a mental video game. And what gets me so angry about this is I wasted like a good year of my life within the Temple of Ascending Flame current. Like, I was sitting down like in a fucking cemetery with this book, with the sigils and stuff within this book here, listening to Edgar Kervel's music, the whole package, the whole 9 yards, and like I wasn't getting anywhere with this shit. All it was like a mental fucking video game. I was hitting a ceiling with it. I wasn't even hitting the ceiling. I wasn't even getting my boots off the ground. Like, I wasn't even going off the ground like this. All this shit was like a mental video game. And I'm going to go on the worst example of plagiarism right here, and that is the art form in this book. So you remember this image right here on page 47 of Rites of Lucifer, of this horse here. Get a load of this. You're going to like this. Okay. This is the Red King. Okay, table of illustrations. The Four Horsemen, 293. Okay, I'm going to show it to you one more time. You're going to have your mind completely blown. Okay? Horse Rider, Rites of Lucifer, the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse from the Red King. Boom. So look at that. Look at that blatant plagiarism. So look at how much. Look at what these people are stealing from. We have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful tradition, beautiful magical system found within the Primal Craft grimoires, and then we get like, become a living god, and like, there's people they're cheapening it. They're cheapening the current. They're watering down the current, trying to make the current safe. They're trying to sanitize it. Just like the safe Satanist, just like the New Agey, like Joy of Satan, and like the safe Satanists, they try to sanitize the devil. They try to make the devil safe and politically correct and friendly and no harm coming in. Well, I'm going to tell you right away that any true system of magic is fucking dangerous. Anything worth anything in this world comes at a risk. I mean, think of it this way: you want to make some money quickly in the stock market. You have to risk losing all your money in the stock market. You know, there's a chance that all your stocks could go bust. You know, and then boom, you lose all your pennies and you're fucking broken on the streets. You know, it's kind of like that. You have to really place your soul. You have to be working from the altar of sacrifice, from the heart. You have to really place that heart. You have to place your heart on the scale and weigh your heart against the feather. Anubis is going to weigh your fucking heart and your fucking soul. And he's either going to be like, okay, you're pure, you're good, you're wholesome, you're worthy, you're allowed to pass through these gates, or no, you are not, you are unwholesome, you are dirty, you are unholy, you are fucking rotten and filthy to the core, you go straight to hell. But really it isn't Anubis is going to be judging you, it's going to be you judging yourself when you perform these eternal works of magic. Because really, Lucifer and Hecate, even though they are living witch gods, they also are projected from within the mind as well. They are also archetypes within the mind, and everything in the universe is a mental projection. So when you are a devotee, when you give offerings to your patrons, you give offerings to your gods and goddesses, and you give devotion, you render forth service, you are also rendering service unto yourself. You're offering unto yourself. It's not only Lucifer or Hecate or Archangel Michael or whatever your patron is or whatever that's being worshipped. It's also yourself that is being worshipped in service there. That is the secret of devotion. And you can tell just by, I mean, some of the sigil works there. What can I show? Not that symbol. Not that symbol. Okay. Just some of the artwork. You can tell the amount of love that that the author, Mark Smith, has for his goddess Hecate and for his god Lucifer. I mean, you can tell the amount of love, and the amount of hours, and the amount of devotion, you know, that went in this book. You know, the amount of passion in the kinds of stuff that that the author had to put himself through, the kind of soul tests, the many times that he had to offer up his soul to be weighed and judged, and to think that he passed all those times, that he succeeded in all of this work, and when you go here, it's just like it's like a dime store novel. It's like a comic book. There's no devotion. There's no risk here. There's no risk. It's just like something you can do on the weekend just for fun. Like, no, you don't fucking do this shit on the weekend just for fun. I'm telling you guys, like, in the end, it's really up to you. But are you going to place your soul in the hands of someone who just doesn't take the work seriously, whose work treats it like a comic book or like a dime store novel or something like that? Or are you going to wield the true gateways of power and put your faith where the faith needs to go, in yourself and in your gods? No, I'm not making this video to kind of like deify Mark Smith or saying you should all worship him like some kind of cult or anything like that. That's not what this is about. I have learned in my occupation there that you can cheapen out on a lot of things. You can cheap out. You can eat with paper plates, you know, in every meal if you want to. You can cheapen out on the clothes that you wear, and still be okay. You can cheapen out on a lot of things. But when it's something as critical as dealing with your own soul, there are a few things you do not cheapen out on, that you do not short on. Especially when making a soul investment, an investment into your own soul and into your patrons. Saving up for a book is an act of devotion or sacrifice. Or, like with me, friend who mails you the books, because, you know, it's been decided that you need them at that particular moment. If you're drawn to the kind of draconian work within there are plenty of other good paperbacks out there. It's not the information. Okay? You can have success with the Devil's Koran. You can have success with the Black Path. You can have success through Martinet Press or some of the other dark paperbacks out there. It's not what this is about. It's a fact that this here is watering down. This is an attempt to sanitize this and make this safe. Make the draconian path safe. And that's not one of the things that you can sanitize and cheapen the fuck out on. Because you're going to get raked the fuck out and you're going to fail very quickly. So, I mean, this is ridiculous. It's got the fucking Golden Dawn LBRP in here even. I mean, it's fucking ridiculous. Nothing to do with Primal Craft. Nothing to do with the Kate there. Oh, and before I forget there, the Ho Ophis, Ho Archaeos, Ho Dragon, Ho Magus, that was stolen from Thomas Carlson. Okay, that's the Dragon Rouge invocation salute. Ho Dragon, Ho Magus. That's directly stolen from. That's directly stolen from Dragon Rouge. So this should just, you know, let you know right away. I mean, who these people are, and there's a reason why they shit out books and paperbacks every single year. Like Fall and Spring, they got a new draconian book, new Clipoth meditations, Clipothic rituals, more Clipothic meditations, more Clipothic rituals, more Clipothic rituals, even more sanitized, even more watered down to a mental video game. Clipothic rituals of sexual pleasure, Clipothic rituals of ego gratification. This shit has nothing to do with gratifying your ego. The Clipoth has to do with breaking you the fuck down into the void so you can recreate yourself. Find your true fucking self. The Clipoth is very, very violent and destructive there. You might as well be working with the Harukas from the Far Eastern tradition. They're that violent and that destructive. Spirituality isn't always gaining something. It isn't always getting more of this. A lot of times spirituality is losing what you don't need, what doesn't fucking serve you anymore. Is you can hack off all those dead and dying branches, you know, hacking them off so they can be burned away. All those dead and dying and decaying parts of self that need to go fucking bye-bye so that they can go away. And so that your true self remains. You know, it's like Groundhog's Day. I had an interesting email conversation there, and this was actually allowed at first, you know, but these people there, I'm gonna try to say as politely as I can that they fucked up in this path, and there's a reason why, like Become a Living meme, they're all like huddling together for support. They're all like huddling together and shitting out like the same book over and over again with just a slightly different cover, with a slightly different design on it. You know, like I have another one right here, Visions of the Night Side, and it's pretty much the same book. It has essays by Bill and Asnath Mason. It has, you know, but instead of Lucifer, it has a Setian meditation. And I'm not putting down, you know, Frater or Reamer in there. He could have, you know, I never read his stuff. It could be very, very good. But the thing you need to realize too, with all these compendiums there, where they have different essays of different authors. It's the publisher, it's Become a Living God who gets all the money. And then these individual people here who are writing the essay, they could have some good stuff here, but they don't get 1 red cent of it. Or they get pennies on the fucking dollar, you know. So when you're supporting these kinds of books, okay, you're really giving all your money to like 1 or 2 people, and like the real artists who like fucking contributed there, they're just getting pennies on the dollar. They're getting cheated out of. They're getting, you know, cheated out of their money there. The fucking compendium shit there. I don't support that culture. But, you know, when you save up your money to a tried and true, you know, occultist there who puts out his own work and his own books and stuff like that, you're giving all your money to, you're supporting the original authors and artists that way. So like, you know, if you wanted to support like a Setian author there, you know, I'd say buy directly from, you know, Frater or Remmer, you know, buy some of his works. Don't buy this off Amazon, because, you know, it's the Temple of Ascending Flame is going to be Asenath or Bill that's going to get all the money, and then, you know, Frater or Remmer is going to get, like, he's going to be lucky if he gets 1 or 2 cents out of that purchase, you know. So that's another thing too that you need to realize when you're purchasing these kind of softcover books there, is that the knowledge is just being, it's knowledge you could find anywhere. I mean, it's regurgitated, it's repackaged. I mean, you could fucking read the Temple of Set, you can read OTO, you could read Aleister Crowley, you can read many others, you know, out there. Hell, you could read Michael Ford. A lot of the draconian stuff out there, you know, and everything like that. You know, Michael Ford was like putting that kind of stuff out there around the same time or before, you know, Mark Smith, but never on an in-depth level as deep or as dark as the Primal Craft goes. But he was putting out stuff too, you know. And now, like, all this, like, Temple of the Same Flame, Become a Living God, and these, like, alphabet occult organizations, alphabet occult houses are just regurgitating the same thing over and over again. You could find, if you just had 5 minutes worth of fucking research, you know, Google or Bing searches, you could find PDFs from the Inner Circles of the Golden Dawn, OTO, and all these fucking Thelema lodges and shit like that. And you could, or just go to the Temple of Set, or go to the left lodges yourself and read their reading list. You don't have to become a member. Just ask them, hey, what is your recommended reading list? I want to learn more about the left-hand path or whatever like that, and they're going to give you a thoroughly good, extensive reading list that blows these authors out, and that's being very generous too. That's being very generous calling them authors. Blows them out of the fucking water. It's fucking ridiculous, guys. This one book right here, The Red King, and The Queen of Hell. Those 2 books have all the stuff that you need to get started on the true draconian path. It has everything that you need. If it's too advanced for you, there's Paul Hewson's Mastering Witchcraft. Okay, those 3 books, Paul Hewson and Mark Smith, they have everything you need to really know about draconian left-hand path, about the left-hand path, magic in the true esoteric sense of the word. Worth more than 1,000 of these books, and all of Eric Cohen's books, and all of, you know, Klepothic meditations, Klepothic masturbations, Klepothic visualizations, Qliphothic rituals, more Qliphothic sex rituals, more Qliphothic this, Qliphothic that. It's like she does not go. You ever notice that is that there's always a new Qliphothic book out there? She doesn't go much more beyond the Qliphoth there. It's like fucking Groundhog's Day. You know, you could have all of the Become a Living God and Temple of the Sending Flame library, and it's not even worth like one. It's not even worth like a fraction. It's not even worth like a few pages out of like Queen of Hell. That's not to be elitist or anything like that, but it's an objective fucking fact here that those 3 books of Paul Hewson, Mastering Witchcraft, and Queen of Hell, by Mark Smith, and The Red King, those 3 books right there, put all these paperback libraries to shame. Now, I'm not smacking all paperbacks out there. Martinet Press puts out some good stuff too. But that's probably like the only other like publishing house, only other publishers that put out fucking good information. Good dark information for the left-hand path and sinister path. So, if you're interested in the draconian path, I mean, it's your decision. I mean, but just use common sense. Now, if you steal PDFs, or you start doing like attempting rituals out of Queen of Hell, and all you really have is these, I mean, are you going to be cursed, or are you going to be raked the fuck out? Maybe not. It all depends on your devotion. It depends on your heart. Just use your common sense, okay? Are you giving devotion? Are you acting from the altar of sacrifice? Are you acting from the heart there? Now, I do not have the authority. I shouldn't be using the word altar of sacrifice. That's Curtis's right to use that word. But you got to use that term because he's done the work. I haven't. You got to be acting from the heart, okay? Are you acting from the fucking heart? That place of, are you weighing your own fucking heart in the feather? You know? These people haven't done the real work, or if they have, they fucked up in it and they're cheaping it down and they become like another lodge. And the reason why they want as many people to read these as possible, so they can create like an egregore, like a hive mind thing that they got going on with like the Golden Dawn, the OTO, and Freemasonry, that like they rake you the fuck out. They rake you the fuck out, and they live off your energy force. You know, the lives of man are unending. The lives of man. It's like a game of telephone. Man can fuck everything up. Man isn't perfect. But when it comes to this kind of shit, this is the kind of stuff you want to avoid because of all the mistranslations and all the bullshit. You know, and think of like how many authors put blinders on their shit too. You ever thought of that? So if you don't know what it is, a blinder is, imagine I am a dark adept. I perform the real work. I have interface with spirits and everything like that. And then you, the normie, or the neophyte, who knows nothing about this, you come along and you just want to hop onto my work. I don't give you the rituals that I've done myself. I change them for you. Like I start changing the sigils on them, and I give you different sigils that may not even be the same sigil that the spirits gave to me. I give you a different symbol. I give it to you backwards or out of order or something. Or I change shit around that when you go to perform the ritual, at best you don't get anywhere. You hit the fucking ceiling or whatever like that, and you depend on me to help you evolve. Basically, I'm like holding you back. I'm intentionally giving you misinformation and wrong rituals and everything to hold you the fuck back. That's church behavior. At the very worst, if I'm really evil, I'm gonna distort the sigils, or I'm gonna give you like symbols for the void and tell you that they're the archangels, and you're gonna think, oh, wonderful, I'm invoking the archangels, and really, you're opening yourself up to the void, and then boom, I get your soul just like that. Now, I'm not like that. I'm not I'm not an evil son of a bitch who wants to get everybody's souls. I'm not like that. I don't want to put out bullshit either on YouTube. I want to put out good information. And it's from my honest opinion that this video had to be fucking made. And one more time, we're going to look at the artistic differences between Temple of Ascending Flame. Not a bad image right here, but you can tell this is all CGI. This is computer imaging. And say like this image right here. Lucifer as the tree of life. You know, and all these images right here in the Queen of Hell and the Red King, they were done. They started out as pencil illustrations done by Namtaru Creations. If you haven't seen her work, you should check it out. Okay, one more time, because I have to repeat myself so that this will start to sink in. Completely digital, CGI, versus lovingly created, painstakingly illustrations that take many hours to take. And by the way, that's Lucifer with the Ark of Souls. When a universe dies, there, according to the lore behind this here, when the universe starts to collapse in on itself on their own weight, Lucifer collects the souls who have completed the work, that have done the real work, you know, who bear the soul eternity, the mark of soul eternity. He puts them in this ark, you know, in this basket, and he ferries them off. And he seeds the new universes with the souls. They are the first beings to enter the new universes. There's some really, really cool stuff right here. Lucifer isn't all dark, death, and suffering. No, no, no. Sometimes he's a savior, benevolent character as well. So you really got to understand that kind of thing, you know. It's like fucking light and dark, you know. Day and night. We don't live in a one-season world, you know. We have daytime and we have nighttime. We have summer and fall, summer and winter, depending on where you are. You know, if you're north or south of the equator, you get to experience fall and spring too. Not just the two extremes. You get to experience all four of them. So, I hope this sheds some enlightenment. The reason why you want to make an investment when you're dealing with your own soul, it's better to just go all the way. It's better to just save up your money and support the real artists, the real magicians, the real artists who are doing the real work, rather than just, you know, paying like $5 or $10 for basically this, a dime store novel, comic book. And just it just cheapens the current. And I put out this disclaimer out there. You know, everything from the Temple of Ascending Flame or whatever like that is read aloud. Anything from this there belongs to Mark Smith, and I'll be more than happy to delete the video. Anything from the Temple of Ascending Flame, distortions or otherwise, also stolen and manipulated from the Primal Craft. But whatever, I will gladly take the video down if the true, you know, if Mark or, you know, Primal Craft Publishing come on this channel and say, hey, you got to take the video down, or this, I'll be more than happy to take the video down. But I will not take the video down just for someone's feelings, like, oh, you know, this offended me, or, you know, you're attacking, you know, you're attacking Baal, you're attacking, you know, people. No, I'm not attacking them. I'm just putting out information. It's been on, hey, you know, this is, you know, it's like, I'm putting out fucking information. Do you want the fucking cheap shit or do you want the real, you know? Do you want a fucking, like, broken piece of shit car that's gonna, like, the camshaft is gonna snap right off? Or whatever like that, or some other, like, cheap-ass car that's gonna clunk itself any second? Or do you want to, like, save up, splurge a little bit on yourself, and also show self-respect when you're willing to save up and splurge on something you really want, rather on just something that you'd like? You're going to be happy. You're going to be glad that you did it. You're going to be glad that you saved up and buy that car that you wanted, you know? There are a lot of things you can cheapen out in life, but dealing with your own soul, that's not one of them. That is not one of them. You could also say that the influx of the Temple of Ascending Flame kind of stuff, and along with the, you know, become a living God, it's like Dark Side of Wicca. You know, it's just another form of New Agey spirituality, which is bullshit. It's more religion. It's more bullshit. It's more stuff that's been basically spoon-fed to enslave you. Whereas if you actually put forth the work and effort to know the entities and know this and form that psychic telepathic connection, you won't need this or this. Hell, you could do one of the two rituals. This is a good guidepost. You may not even need this book anymore. Once you found a good psychic connection, a psychic link to Lucifer, it's not about the books. Books are just objects. They can be charged with energy. They can be charged as gateways. But once you form that psychic telepathic link, once you form that bond, you won't have a human medium. You won't need a priest or a priestess or another man to filter the divine. You have your own fucking connection. You have your own eternal soul and your own eternal connection to your soul and its connection to the gods. You don't need any other man or priest or class or whatever to fucking play a game of telephone and tell you this story, and then it goes to another fucking telephone and gets slightly distorted. By the time you hear it, it's all completely ass backwards wrong and the opposite of what the person, you know, 10 phones down the line, what he had to say is completely different from him, you know. Just, you know, get fucking real. This is not to deify Mark Smith or anything, but I'm just saying that Mark Smith is a man who's done the real fucking work. He's done the real fucking shit. Andrew Chumbley's done the real fucking work. Curtis Joseph has done the real fucking work. These people right here, they're, at best, they're trying to make a quick buck. At worst, they're trying to vampirize off you and start raking you the fuck out. I'm not putting down all the others. I'm just saying, you know, the heads of these egregores, the heads of the Become a Living God, the heads of the Temple of Ascending Flame, they huddle together, birds of a feather, for a reason. End of rant.